So I'm honored to invite here to share a little bit of her story, Brenda Waybrant. Let's welcome Brenda. And she'll share a little bit about her story as a restaurant worker and sort of what she experienced and what she's up to now. So Brenda?
Thank you so much. Have any of y'all worked in restaurants before? Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much for all of your work and the emotional labor that you put into that as well, that you probably weren't compensated for. As of today, I am a proud union organizer with SEIU Local 205. I work with our Metro government employees, and it is such a wonderful journey to be on, and I never thought that I would be here. I grew up in a lot of poverty. My mom was on disability, and when I moved out, I said, I don't ever want to be in poverty again. And so I went to college, and I got a degree because they just said, just have a piece of paper. As long as you have a piece of paper, you're golden. You've got the American dream. I haven't spoken in front of a lot of people in a very long time. It's been a minute. Okay, so I graduated in 2008 when the recession hit. And while I was in college, I waited tables. I got my degree in theater, like I said, and it was just a flexible job that I could pick up when I needed to, transfer shifts if I needed to, and it seemed like I could make more money working in restaurants than if I went and got a job making minimum wage, which at that time was $5.15 an hour. And so I just kept waiting tables after college, because it just didn't make sense to me. Like, I knew my labor was worth more than $5.25. That didn't pay my bills. And so I moved down here in Nashville in 2013 because I couldn't make ends meet in Kentucky anymore with the tips that I was getting. And I got a job off 2nd Avenue at a much busier restaurant. Worked my way through that through their corporate office. They had a headquarters here in Nashville also. And I fully believed in the American dream. If I worked hard enough, and I was putting in 60, 70 hours a week, working in the corporate office, working in the restaurants on the weekend, I fully believed that if I did all of that, I would be successful, right? You know, we can put a roof over our heads, we have food to eat. I just wanted to have my bills be auto-drafted from my account to be okay. That didn't seem like a hard ask. And then 2020 happened. And we all got let go. And people in the restaurant industry here in Nashville worked so hard to make Nashville the it city that it is. We take care of all of the tourists that come through. We put up with bad scheduling, little or really crummy health care. I've seen pregnant women work until they are about to pop and then come back right after work because they don't have paid time off. It's just a frustrating situation that we find ourselves in as laborers. And so in the pandemic, when we all got laid off, I, like many of my friends, had no idea how to judge the world and what was gonna happen. And so I found myself doom scrolling on Facebook. If y'all ever do that, just sit online and just you have better things to do, but you can't figure it out right now. And I found a couple people that said, hey, we're thinking about unionizing the restaurant industry. I had no idea what a union was. Even though I grew up in southeastern Kentucky, we were far away enough from coal country that we didn't have that. But I was like, unions are supposed to be for people, so what we're doing right now isn't working. Let's figure this out. So we got together and we met every day on Zoom for the first month of the pandemic. And it was wonderful. We were talking about organizing. We were talking about the value of our labor. We were talking about how do we change the industry from such an exploitative industry, from an industry that we weren't even considered adults for our managers. Oftentimes our managers would walk up and be like, hey children, come on, let's go. Let's get our life together today. And I'm a grown person. I don't need to be talked to like I don't even talk to children like that, right? Like, we have to respect the humanity in every single person regardless of their age. And oftentimes, And so we were having these meetings, we were talking about the value of labor, we were talking about organizing, how do we make a difference in the industry, and we saw that nobody was speaking for restaurant workers. We know that COVID travels by air. We were seeing our country being shut down over and over and over in different places, and yet people were going into restaurants without masks on. You can't wear a mask when you eat or drink, and it takes so many people, it takes such a team to make sure that you have a plate put in front of you, right? Like you have your prep cooks who prep everything and touch everything. You have your kitchen workers who are back in the back who have to handle dishes. Your bussers have to pick up dirty plates. Your servers have to pick up dirty plates. And your dishwashers are back in the back spraying all that water around, and all those aerosol particles are going up. So we started to call out restaurants who weren't doing right by their employees, and we had several winning campaigns at Puckett's and Leaper's Fork. We were going to picket, and we ended up not having to because the owner said, hold up, I recognize I'm doing something wrong and we need to change this. At Von Elrod's in Germantown, we had a third of the staff sign on to a 4-page grievance letter because they didn't have COVID protocols. They had let an employee go because they were trying to schedule him outside of his availability. They weren't informing staff of COVID cases. And it's hard enough when we have to put our bank accounts in the hand of somebody else as a front of house worker making $2.13 an hour, let alone we have to put our bank accounts in the hand of people who don't respect and value the labor that we are offering. I was told so often that my job wasn't even a real job. My back hurt, my feet hurt, I had money in my bank account. Like what qualifies a real job? And so Jesus preached love, and this is why this is so important for all of us. We have to take care of the least of us. And love includes financial love. It includes making sure that our brothers and sisters and non-binary and trans friends have enough money in their bank accounts to pay their bills, to earn a living wage. If you're not paying a living wage, you're paying a poverty wage. And we have too much of that in America. We have too much wealth here for low-wage workers to be struggling so hard. And so I ask y'all to make sure when you go out to eat and go to restaurants, be kind, be compassionate. Ask them how their job is. Ask them how they're feeling. Acknowledge their humanity. And I think together we can all work to make sure the least of us aren't suffering as much as they are right now. Thank you so much for having me today.